I'm here in my car with wet hair because one, that's the only place that is quiet right now, and two, I just got out of the shower and this is the only time I have to do this, so I'm just trying to get it over with. I wanted to start making videos to go along with my blog posts. For the most part, I'm not very good with my words, so I feel like the blog posts are better, but sometimes, I don't know, videos are faster. Not everybody has time to read. For the three of you that do read and watch. No, but so I just wanted to start making videos that kind of coincide with my blog posts, and if you kind of want to just like watch a summary instead. This one's a tiny bit different just because I have I want to preface it with something. I had I was talking to my dad earlier today and we had a really good conversation, but he kind of brought it to my attention. Oh my, okay, I'm back. I saw a wild animal. I think I'm calling it the wrong name, but I swear it was a bobcat. Just go past my house. So yeah, highlight reel. Anyways, I was talking to my dad this morning. He always gives it to me straight. So we were just kind of like talking about the term God's will, like how people say it's God's will, and it, like almost sometimes like it's a cop out. And there's my kids. I can't even escape in the car.
If it isn't back there, it's not big enough, so it would have fit through the fence.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so like I say what we're doing right now is part of God's will, and I don't ever want it to come off as like a cop out or like I'm following my own selfish will, and then I just put the title God's will on it to make it sound like I'm not being selfish. That is not my intention at all. I truly do feel like what we are going through right now is part of God's will, and here is my rationale. I do think it's easy to use that as like a legitimate reason for stuff, but like what I'm saying is I do think it's, people do say like, oh yeah, I have to go do something crazy because it's part of God's will. I do think that it is used as a cop-out sometimes, and that was kind of his point. Like, how do you discern between it actually is God's will, because ultimately our lives, we do have free will, but ultimately he already knows what's going to happen, and how do you discern what is God's will and what is your own selfish desire, and then you're just labeling as God's will. And what I don't really have a very clear answer, but here is how I feel like, yes, I am following God's will. Okay, so I am a Christian, as many people know, but I've been going to church regularly. I'm in my Bible daily. We've had to mull over some really hard decisions, and selfishly, I know what I want. Despite that, I haven't manipulated my circumstances to fit my selfish desires. Instead, I have voiced my wants, voiced my desires, and voiced my opinions, and kind of set those to the side and asked mentors and friends and my husband to pray through these hard decisions for months. It hasn't just been like one prayer, but please pray for us and help us to discern what is our selfish wants and what is God's will. And through that, still, this is the first time that Corey and I really don't agree. He is struggling to leave, but me, like, I really, really want to stay. And unfortunately, I can't open up the Bible and say, oh, right here, it says in Galatians that we should move to California or move to Ohio. It doesn't say that. But what the Bible does say is that I need to let my husband lead, and I need to be in the Word daily, and I need to be close to God. And I have done those things, and ultimately I have to let Corey lead, and I have to trust that he is making the best decision that he can for our family, and that he is remaining close to God and trying to get wisdom from our mentors and through all of that things. And I have to trust as his wife that as my husband, he is making the best decision for us. And I feel that because of that, we are following God's will, because ultimately, despite my selfish desires, despite even Corey's selfish desires, our circumstances have led us back to Ohio. And maybe we are making a mistake, but I trust that if we remain close to God, even if we are making a mistake and we've gotten all the signs wrong and we've made a selfish decision despite prayers for us not to, that God will redirect us, and that he will provide, and that he will lead us back to where we need to be. But right now, we are going to Ohio. I don't want people to ever think that I plug that little phrase in there, God's will, like selfishly, like this is what secretly and subconsciously what I want. But I'm just going to put that label, God's will, on there as a cop-out, so people say, yeah, you know, you're following God's will, do what you want. No, I'm not. That's not it at all. And the other thing is, with having mentors in your life, I would hope that people who have guided us, if they saw, you know, Corey and I are out partying every week. We haven't been to church in even 2 weeks, or a month. We aren't in the Bible. We aren't living our lives as Christians. We have relationships with people who mentor us, that I would hope that they would step in and say, you know what, are you really doing as you should? How can you follow God's plan for your life when you're living your life like this? But I truly feel that I have been clinging to God through all of this, and that he ultimately, I hope and I pray that we are following his plan, because otherwise I don't know why we're doing this. So anyways, that's not even what my blog post is about, and we're already at 7 minutes. Yikes. So real quick, I just want to say that yes, I do mention God's will in this blog post. It's been very hard to leave friendships behind, and even moving from neighborhood to neighborhood, you go to different grocery stores and you meet new people, and change your routine, and it's exhausting for me. So I have really struggled in my life to, I constantly want to be like, oh, here comes Liberty. I constantly want to be like, okay, I'm not making friends, I'm not making connections, and I'm not getting my kids connected only to pull them away. I'm waiting until I know for sure. And that has been my mindset for a really long time. I'm going to wait to get us connected and rooted until I know for sure that we're here to stay, because I don't want them to be hurt or sad when we have to leave again. And what I've realized is that that's not the way to think of it. Had to switch up the scenery because it's like a live game of hide and go seek. My whole point to the post is that I have found, while there's pain in leaving after connecting, that there's no harm. And so I just hope that that is what comes across in the blog post. I hope that that encourages someone that is struggling to reach out, or they're waiting to make that connection until life makes so much sense. My life still doesn't make sense, and I'm so thankful for the relationships and the connections that we made here. And connection is important. That's part of who we are. We need that connection. We need those relationships. So don't hold back and don't wait, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. And even if you think that you're leaving, maybe you won't be. And even if you are, maybe that relationship is put in your path for a very important reason. So don't pass up on it. And that's all.